This is the Triad. It's the world's first portable, wireless, augmented reality, and virtual reality 3D ultrasound for personal use, or as we like to call it, a personal imaging system. Please note, the Triad personal imaging system is derived from our upcoming medical product line, but the personal imaging system is not a medical device. It cannot diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. It gives you visibility into your own body for personal awareness, the same way a bathroom scale gives you weight reading without being a medical device. If you see something you have questions about, please consult a medical or healthcare professional.
Okay, this is the Triad. It is a wireless portable ultrasound that works with your VR equipment and augmented reality. And so what we're going to do real quick is we're going to connect to the scanner. So I just pulled everything out of this case and I turned it on, did a little more setup just so I can record this. But generally speaking, what you do is you take everything out of the case, turn everything on, and then you connect the headset to the scanner and you're done. So we're going to do that real quick. I'm just going to connect to the scanner. It's going to show us this screen, and that's going to turn white while it connects just for a second or two, and then we should be able to go straight into the scanner from there. So here's the white screen, and in just a second, now we're connected to the scanner. So if I take my finger and I run it across the top of the scanner, you'll see that it up here that it's darkening the scanner where I'm running my finger across. And there are two different views here. You've got this view here, which is more of a traditional ultrasound kind of two-dimensional view. And then you have the blade view down here, which is going to show you the exact intersection of anything that it finds with this little blade area. And you can also adjust the depth of this. So we're going to do that. We're going to, okay, so you can adjust the depth and you can adjust the power level of the ultrasound coming out. So I'm going to set that to about medium. And this right here, the long one is setting 4. We're going to go with setting number 1. This compacts all of the ultrasound data into a very small area. And so you get a higher resolution, but it's a much smaller area that we're scanning. But that's okay because what we're looking for today is right underneath the skin. So these buttons on the side here let you toggle things like between augmented reality and virtual reality mode. So when you're looking at things in a minute, you'll be able to see things better in VR because it's got a black backdrop. But if you're trying to see where you're doing something, you can do that here. Sweep mode, this lets you toggle between basically sweeping across like this, like a scan, versus tilting it back and forth. And they're just kind of different techniques that you might use for different situations. Scanner and pointer is going to switch between the scanner that you saw a second ago with a blade and the pointer, which lets you not, it lets you interact with the user interface and stuff, but without worrying that you're going to accidentally trigger the scan while you're trying to interact with the user interface. And then this button up here, track scan versus look at this. When I click this, it should toggle us back and forth. So right here, you're able to see what I see through the headset in VR mode on the computer, which is a higher resolution recording. But you can't see augmented reality. Otherwise, I would just use that. So I'm going to switch it back. Now, the look at this mode is basically like a chase plane, right? Where I can control the camera around what I'm scanning. And the reason this is a thing at all is that we do offer a version of this that comes with a laptop. And if you have the laptop version, you can show other people what you're scanning while you're doing it. And you can control it using that. And I'm going to use that kind of to guide you to look at some stuff while we're doing this. Okay, but without further ado, we've got the scanner on. We're connected. It says connected up in the corner. We are good. Let's grab our conductive gel with, that's probably my photo on the front. And I want to scan my part of my leg. Now, I have high blood pressure, which comes is probably a result of my diet of just potato chips and Dr. Pepper. And it could have something to do with the fact that I sit like a veal all day. But a result of that is that I have a secondary thing called edema, which is where I have fluid retention in the legs. Right here, I have a blue dot, and over here, I have another blue dot that's really starting to fade. It's right there. And I'm going to scan this area. I've scanned this area several times a day for the last few days under different circumstances. And we're going to look at those scans, and I'll tell you what is going on in each of those. It's kind of cool, though. So this is one of the things that you can do with the Triad. You basically are able to scan any part of your body, and it'll automatically save it. And then you can pull that scan back up later and look at it and compare it to what you're looking at now. And that gives you a tremendous amount of clarity on what's going on in your body. So we're going to go with you. Can you see this little, there's a little black dot right here. That's actually a blood vessel. And what I want to do is see if I can find that blood vessel while I'm near that first dot. And then I'm just going to scan up just a little bit. I'm going to drop this down here. Okay, so I'm just going to scan right up the way here towards the other one. We're going to do it one more time. I'm trying not to compress the blood vessel at all. I just want it to be, I'm using it as a kind of a landmark. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty good. So when Triad scans something, it creates what in the animation, the visual effects industry is called a keyframe every little bit of time. And so these keyframes basically, see, I made that accidental little scan right there, and I didn't mean to. That's what this pointer mode is for. These keyframes let you visually see what you're scanning without doing any real processing on it. So we can take this into another app, and I'll make another video on that one that's going to show you what you can do with this whole data after the fact. But right now, this is our little scan. Now you may be thinking that is a tremendously small amount of room there for me to do anything with. Yeah, you're correct. We'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to clear this, and clearing just gets rid of the things that are floating in the air. That's all it does. So I'm just going to clear those two. And then we're going to go to Files. All right. Now, here's the deal. A few days ago, on the 6th, I believe it was, no. On the 5th is when I originally had this idea. I realized that I could actually see the edema I could see the fluid retention in my legs with the Triad. And I thought, well, this is a perfect example of what we can do with a product. So I'm going to pull up some of that. And this is from the 5th. So today is I believe that today's the 10th. And that puts us at, is it the 10th? Yes, today's the 10th. Okay, so 5 days ago. So that's 5 days ago. And I'm going to pull up the next morning at 9 a.m. This one. And then we had a few things here. We got what else do we have with 10? We have a few scans from 5 and 6 a.m. We'll pull up at 6 a.m. That'll be an interesting one to look at. And then we'll do this last one that we just did, which was 9:35. Now, no, we don't want that one. That's that garbage one. We'll get the one before that, 9:34. There we go. Now, the interesting thing here is that it marks which ones we're looking at. And this allows you to very easily go, I'm done with this, and delete them if you want to, or you can share them. We'll get to sharing in another video also. You're able to share this using our website, or our special gallery feature allows you to actually share your videos with other people. This is totally private, but our gallery will have, I'm going to post a number of my videos, my scans on there so that anyone can go in and look at them. So you can see the things that I'm looking at here on our website shortly. And obviously reload list just reloads this list. So I'm going to go into the measurement tab now. And from here, I have the ability to measure distances and radius and diameter, and then clear out those. But I'm also going to scale everything first. I'm going to scale everything up to 5 times. So, and I'm going to move this garbage one out of the way. So now what I want to do is I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to grab these, and we're going to look at them. And rotate them so they're all facing the same. They have the same orientation. And that is skin down. And I don't. Let me move these around so I can think about this. So we got this is skin down here. Okay, so this is the side we want to use. So we'll want these to be on this side. Oh yeah, there it is. Oop. Had it right the first time. Okay, so I'm just gonna move that around. Here we go. Okay, this is really wild. So here's where we started off. The 5th. I was looking at this and I thought, oh, you know what? This black area over here, this is fluid retention in tissue. If you look at other parts of your body, you'll see similar parts when you've worked out, for example, when you have been sitting around for a while. There are all kinds of different situations where you'll see this, but this is, for example, a blood vessel. I don't know if it's a vein or an artery. I'm sorry. But I do know that you can see that it's round. If I compress this, if I pushed the scanner across the bottom, it would squeeze this and squish it to a little oval. And then it would spring back when I let go. Well, this compressed, when you compress the rest of this, it just kind of squishes the fluid around. It's kind of funny. But what happens is this is measurable. We can go in here and we can just measure this, and that's what I've got here on this tool. I've got the distance tool, and we're going to look at that right now. To make it as accurate as possible, I'm actually going to scale it way up, and I'm going to grab that one, and we're going to scale just one at a time. And I'm going to click right about there and pull out a little scale tool. Now, the scale tool will intelligently try to be intelligent. It will try to figure out which model or which object that you've scanned is the closest one to that, and it will lock onto it. So in this case, we can see that it's 1.04 centimeters roughly to that to the bottom of that blood vessel. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to do this for all of them. Actually, we're going to do them in order, though. So this was the day when I realized, hey, I can actually look at this stuff. Maybe I can see the edema in my leg. I should start, I should scan it every so often to see what happens. So here is the kind of the baseline. I don't know if I'd been sitting all day, so I don't know how good or bad it was at the time, but it's a start, right? So that was 5:13 in the afternoon. So we're going to look now at the next morning. Now, I always assumed that something like that would get better overnight with rest. And it turns out that it doesn't. In fact, you can look at it here. What you notice is it is actually substantially worse. Now, I don't move a lot while I sleep. I usually lay on my back when I go to sleep, and I wake up on my back. So I really don't move a lot. But that might be part of the problem. I don't have my legs elevated or anything like that. But 1.375 centimeters there versus 1.0 centimeters originally, basically, right? And I can go, well, it's not exactly right. It's a little under that. And I can play with that number, but it's still roughly 1.35, 1.36, something like that. All right, so we're going to put that aside. So apparently sleeping did nothing. Okay. And then we got, so this morning, this is interesting, and I don't know what to expect here. I'm after these, I can tell you that after these two, every time after that, when I would do a scan, everything kind of surprised me. Like, does this help? No. Does this help? No, not really. But last night, I didn't really sleep much. I've been up all night working on the making sure the app is working as tightly as possible, make sure all the hardware and software is talking compatibly, make sure the website's ready, all that kind of stuff, and working on videos and presentations for this. So I've been up all night. So at 6:30, I was about to go to bed, and I said, you know what? I'm going to scan myself one more time. Now, I've been sitting at my desk since about 11 last night. So talking about 7 hours of just sitting in the middle of the night. And let's see what that looks like. Is it going to be better or worse? I don't know. Okay, so it is better than my sleeping, all right? But if you look over here at the side, you can see the fluid retention all over the place here. And there is fluid retention around that blood vessel also. And I don't it's not as bad as it was when I so this is the morning 9 a.m. one, and this is 6:30 a.m. this morning. So it's not as bad, but it's not great either. It's definitely worse than 5 in the afternoon. And I can hold them next to each other. The really cool thing about this is everything is accurate. And so when I do a scan, I can just physically just pick it up and put it next to another one and see right there. Oh, this is definitely different. So if I had like a wasp bite or something like that, and I want to know if it was getting any bigger, I could totally do that. In fact, we've got a little tool for it here. We got this circle tool, and I could come in here and I could draw out a circle. Oops, not like that. I can draw out a circle and put it in there, and then say, come back in the next day and compare it one to the other and see how that compares. So that's just an amazing tool right there. So let's look though at 9:30. I went to sleep at where was it? 6:30. I trundled off to bed at 6:30, and then I woke up a whole 3 hours later with a good night's sleep. Let's see how that 3 hours did. Oops, not that one. Now we have a button over here that clears all the scales out, but it clears all of them at one time, and I just want to do one, so I'm just going to go like this. And let's move some of this stuff out of the way so I can see that. Make sure that's as accurate as possible there. And we're looking at 1.01. So it looks like in the middle of the night, I actually ended up better off than well, I certainly got better sleeping a little bit, but you can see that there's still edema around it. The really interesting thing is that there's another piece of information that I've been hiding from you, and that is after, where was it? So here's the 6th. On the 6th, I got a refill for my blood pressure medication, which I had not been taking. My medication ran out on the 4th. I finally got my refill on the 6th, started taking that. And so what I suspect is that this is me medicated, and I can see that even after 3 hours of sleep and being up all night, I can see that my edema is actually better than it was when I was not on the medication. So unfortunately, this means my doctor was right, and I have to go back and tell him he was right. But that's the cool thing about this. This product doesn't diagnose or treat anything, but you can certainly use it along with your doctor's help and guidance. You tell them you have this device, they'll usually say something like, "That's awesome. It's unbelievable. You can probably do this or that." That's just one example of how you use the product and how you could use it to compare and gauge things over time. And I hope this makes sense. I've got a ton of other things. There are clearly a lot of other parts of the body that I can scan and a lot of things that I can show off. And I'm going to do that in other videos, but I wanted to give you just kind of this is the intro to how to use the product and how you can use it to basically immediately learn things about your own body and hopefully help yourself along the way. So for more information, go to triadmedtech.com and get one for yourself. Thanks. Have a great day. Oh yeah, one more thing. These scans I will make sure are on the website later today. Today is the April 10th. I'll try to get all these scans onto the website in the gallery section. Right now, it's just blank. I should have that all populated with at least these 4 scans and some other interesting stuff if I can get around to that. So there you go, triadmedtech.com.